Ladies and gentlemen, happy Sunday and welcome to Gashi's Kaman TV, the Tourist Man Black Africa. A number of my fans have requested me to talk about the direction by the government, asking parents and schools to channel their school fees through the one number 2222 e-citizen. Meaning, school fees will be paid through one number, pay bill number, operated and owned by the government. And a number of people came or talked to me through my WhatsApp, direct message, some of them even calling me. Because when the ministry gave these directions, I think many parents are very, very uncomfortable. Many people became very, very uncomfortable with this kind of move. And I've been thinking about it, and I have come to a number of conclusions. Number one of the reasons why many people are worried is because when you look at Kenyatta National Hospital, which actually was using this model, has been using this model, you realize that there are issues that arose as suppliers have not been paid. And when they have been paid, the payments have been delayed. And this one is one of the areas that has not been clearly addressed. As we talk, as we go on air, a number of suppliers supplying various goods, especially perishable items, things to do with meds, are complaining that they have not been paid since the government adopted this kind of payment method. So parents are fearing that the suppliers who supply, especially food to school, I think they may not end up being paid in time. They may take ages to be paid. And when they are not paid, I'm sure they will not be able to supply this much needed food stuff and many other stationaries. And once they are not paid, because you see, one thing that is very clear with the government, because of bureaucracies, you look at the issue of capitation. The government last year did not even send all the money for capitation. And it takes a lot of time to send the much needed money to school. Some schools even close area because the government has not sent the money, because each child, each student is supposed to get 22,000 per annum. And the money is shared into 50 ratio. That's the ratio of 50, 30, 20. That is term 1, 50%, term 2, 30%, term 3, 20%. But you find that by the time the year comes to an end, only maybe about 60% or 40% have been sent to school. So what does this mean, ladies and gentlemen? It means that once the supplier refuses to supply the goods, the foods, I think the school will be starved. And when the school are starved, the students will be starved. And when the students are starved, what do you expect? Do you know? Lack of enough sugar, or just missing, or food just being late, not even missing food, just being late for 10 seconds can trigger a strike in a school. For those of you who operate schools, for those of you who have been involved in one way or the other, as BOM members, PTA members, parents, you know very well, because all of us are parents, or we have brothers and sisters who are in school. And when you listen to their story, most of the things revolve about food, the kind of food they eat, not even the kind of education they get. So if the government delays paying the suppliers, what to expect? You know, national schools rarely goes on strike. But if this happens, if the government delays sending the money, which is expected, I can tell you, there will be chaos that have never been seen in schools. It means that William Samoei Ruto will be blamed. The blame should be directed to William Samoei Ruto if the worst happens. The second thing that is going to happen is that in schools, there are support staff. There are the bursars, accountants, the watchmen, the gatekeepers, and many other people, including the BOM teachers. This means that they will not be getting their salaries in time. And what do you expect, especially for those people? Do you expect them to be efficient? Do you expect them to be motivated? Do you expect them to give their best when you go for months without paying them? What do you expect, ladies and gentlemen? Because according to me, these guys are likely to down their tools. And once they down their tools, the schools will be paralyzed. And once the schools are paralyzed, what will happen? Our education will be affected a lot. And who is to blame? Again, William Samoei Ruto. Look at it on another way. That there are many things to pay. There are bills to clear. Electricity bills, water bills, whatnot, including telephone bills. And this is the money that is expected to pay or to clear these bills. And again with the bureaucracy, kwa sababu mambo ya serikali, you must follow one step after the other. It takes time. The person who is supposed to sign is not there. He did not come to office. Bureaucracy and the kind of lethargy that you find with Kenyans, especially those working in the public sector, is on another level. And it ends up affecting everybody. And once it affects everybody, it means that these bills will be late. And then what will happen? You find Kenya Power and Lighting Company disconnect the electricity. You find the water companies disconnecting the waters. You find so many services grinding to a halt. In fact, I can see even exams being affected because it means that printing will be affected. Maybe the principals will not get money maybe for stationaries. If the government is failing to supply all the books that were supplied by Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, previously Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta would supply all the books. But currently as we speak, there are some books that have not been supplied to schools by the government of William Samoei Ruto. Not that they cannot supply, but because of inefficiency. These are the kind of inefficiencies that we expect to find. And what is likely to follow is that William Samoei Ruto is going to ask now the extra county schools and then the county schools and then the day school to follow suit. And the questions that comes to our mind are many. One of the questions that comes to my mind is, who is getting? Is there somebody who owns this number, the pay bill number? Is there somebody who has turned out to be a broker? And who is this person? And because I strongly believe this person or this bill is getting a commission from the tele giants, because I think it's owned by Safaricom. And this is business, by the way. And who owns this business number? Who is getting the money in form of commissions? And why should this be allowed to happen? Is there somebody who is playing with the lives of Kenyans? Is there somebody who wants to put the lives in the education of our children on the line simply because he won't have money in his pocket, simply because he does not care? Again, another question that emerges, was there public participation on this one? Because we did not see any public participation. And I know, I don't know most of you whether you realized that even the so-called public participation that was carried kule upper hill, mnajua vizuri sana what these guys were doing about the housing levy. They would go to colleges and pick some students, dress them up, and then give them Kenya shilling 1,500. Because people do not want to go and give their views because they knew it's a waste of time. But the students, without even knowing what they were doing, they just say what they were told to do and say what they were told to say and said what they were told to say. And it was taken like public participation. So it was a hoax. It is just playing with the people's minds. So this one, I think is not a well thought approach on the issue of school. Again, when you look at the advisors, who are the experts here? Who are advising the government of the day? Who are the people who are advising William Samoei Ruto? Or is it true what is being said, that he listens to nobody? He does not listen to anyone. And is one leader who is a know-it-all. And when this nation fails, because most likely it is going to fail, I think William Samoei Ruto would be blamed most by people. This one reminds me of Pilate. You know, Pilate, when Jesus was presented to him, and you know, there was the Romans which were loading there, and the Jews were there, and they were the majority. There was a lot of hostility between the Jews and the Romans, and to please the Jews, because the Jews wanted Jesus Christ to be crucified, and during that time, I think it was time of Passover, a prisoner had to be released. That is how Barnabas was released, and Jesus Christ was crucified, because Pilate initially wanted to release Jesus Christ, but the Jews said no, release Barnabas. And you know, at one time, Pilate could not make the decision. That is why he referred Jesus to Herod. And then, when Herod was given Jesus and was supposed to make the decision, no, he sent Jesus again to Pilate. And Pilate, because he could not make also the decision, he could not find fault in Jesus. And you remember the wife came there when he was just about to make the decision. The wife came to Pilate and told him, you know what? I had sleepless nights because of this man, Jesus. Because I don't know what was happening to Pilate's wife. I think he must have had some nightmares about Jesus Christ because Jesus was innocent. So what Pilate did is to wash his hands. And once he washed his hands, he asked the crowd, the Jews, to make the decision. And that is why they were saying, crucify him, crucify him, crucify him. Later, according to church history, Pilate committed suicide. He committed suicide. Nitakuachia hayo, make your own conclusion, but remember to like this video. It is a Sunday. I wish you all the best and have a great day. Bye-bye.